what's being yearned for, what's being looked for, has nothing to do with you. The way you think you are, the way you experience yourself to be, the way that you think other people experience you, the way in which you're lacking, the way in which you're you find yourself to be. It has nothing to do with you. It's simply all just what's appearing to happen. It's very ordinary, it's very obvious, and it's directly already the case. And it's beyond knowing and beyond understanding. And it's already completely known everywhere, because that's all there is already. But there may be a sense of, a really lived sense of feeling separate, overlaying that. And out of that, there's a yearning and a searching. And it doesn't seem to be this then. It doesn't seem to be whole and complete. It doesn't seem to be in free fall. It's there's a question. So let's see what sort of questions arise this evening. You can't go wrong or right.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hi, Jory. How you doing?
I've been better. I got sick over the past few days, so I'm just coming back. I'm coming back.
Good.
So you just talked about, I think what you just talked about was that, whatever's happening just is totally impersonal and doesn't care about the me. And so I'm just thinking like that there's no adapting to that either, right?
There's no way of
There's no
the individual
adapting.
adapting.
There's no adapting to that. So then that's like, I just don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is not a good message for the individual. This is horrendous, really, for the individual. Like, what's the individual supposed to do with any of this?
Yeah.
It's if it's really heard, I mean, it's an illumination that there is no individual, there is no you. So that's not good news for the individual. The individual, the individual likes to be fed and protected, and the individual is interested just in being an individual. So the vast majority of communications that the individual would be drawn to would be ones in which you would be given something to do. And ones in which, like, as I just very briefly outlined there, we have a sense of being a separate individual. So that story is unique to every body mind. So that story will be that I need to be better at this, and I need to stop doing this or whatever. So it will kind of feed into communications that feed that acknowledge that in some way. You can be stiller, you can be bring stillness to the mind, you can be in a state of whatever. There's just endless. It just goes on and on and on. So they're the kind of ones that are safe and attractive to the individual, because they give the individual a job to do. They acknowledge the individual and give them a job. If you just do this, then you'll get there. So it's not in any way confronting to the individual. And I mean, it's completely logical that that's the way the world operates. So that's the kind of thing that the individual is drawn to. That's really the way it seems. The reality it lives in is that if I do this and this and this, then I'll get there. And there's other people that are there. We can confirm that they're there. So they can tell me that if I do this and this, I'll get there. So that's very much understandable and logical, that if you have a feeling of something is missing and there's a yearning for something, then that logic would be applied to that. Then I just need to work really hard, find the right people who've been through it, whatever I've been through, are knowledgeable about it or whatever, and then I'll just do that. And then, so the suggestion at the beginning of this is actually what's yearned for has nothing at all to do with you or how you feel you are, or your story of that you're not enough this and you're too much of the other thing. And that's quite a shock. That's quite a shock to people, is because everything is in their life is about them, really, or about other people they care about in their lives, but it's about the story of them. And this happened to me when I was a child, and this happened to my family, or this it's one thing after another of the story of them. So it's quite a shock to think that what they're yearning for has nothing to do with that story at all, nothing to do with how they find themselves or experience themselves. And as you say, there's nothing you can do with that then. How did you put it? There's no
adapting. I mean,
adapting. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, different. It's like, if you were
and that's why like this communication is not addressing an individual that needs to adapt to anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, because, like, sorry to interrupt, but
no,
as if what you're saying is new information for me, but if it was new information for me, there's nothing that I can do with that. And so, I mean, it makes me think about that, something that I've been thinking about, which is, why not just say that when I say I'm just referring to the flow. And so, like, I got sick, so the flow got sick. Or
yeah, many people do that. There's a whole movement of doing that. It's quite a that's not that's been around for quite a while. Like,
that's not what this message.
Oh no. You just that's just all that is just looking at the symptoms of separation, and it doesn't make any difference at all. The language really isn't important. Like, as if you could address the sense of separation through changing the language, if it was that simple.
or what
Or the
words mean,
words, you know,
what
it
the
doesn't
words
matter.
mean.
Like some people, there's this whole movement under some kind of branch of non-duality where you would speak like that. You would speak like I would say like the person appearing as Kenneth, and you would say the person appearing as Jory, and
Yeah,
as if that would then make a difference in their belief. It does make a difference, because like the logic of it is, you know, basically you're not feeding that language
yeah.
of separation and all of
Well,
that.
that would be like you'd kind of trying to reprogram your brain or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it's nothing to
That
do with language at all. Like
would be,
the deeply
yeah.
held sense of separation is an energetic contraction in the body, is about as clear as I can describe it.
Mm,
It's got a huge component in the mind, like mainly run from the brain.
mm,
But it's a cellular contraction in the body. You know, it's not just a mind thing. It's not an idea or a concept. It's certainly not a concept. It's a lived feeling of feeling uh, in the body, looking out on the world
mm,
and feeling real, that you have a life. There's life, and I have my life, and um, a sensation of feeling that it's your thoughts and your emotions, and that you're sitting on the chair, and you know, you're hearing the sounds and everything. So I mean, that's the way it is, and there's no feeling here that I can, that of being able to in any way impact on that either, by the way.
mm,
Not at all. Because if I could, then like I'd be seeing a real sense of separation, that I feel like that would be within a kind of causal reality,
yeah,
which is the causal reality is the one we is from the one of separation.
yeah,
So this is always just a share, just simply a sharing, without agenda.
right.
And it resonates. Then sometimes it just, there's an openness to this, and it just resonates, and it's just so
Yeah.
obvious that there's just no but the words are just don't really matter that much.
Mm, mm. But like when you talk about like kind of a energetic effect, I would say that one effect that has happened after upon hearing this message, is it's as if somebody shuffled the deck, and I if somebody asked me if I would I not would have not wanted to have my deck shuffled, and I would probably say no, but on the other hand, um it's a bitch, man.
Mm,
So I don't know if there's anything you have to say about that, but
life's a bitch, yeah. Then
well,
you
there's
then
time.
and
There's
then you
time.
die, and then you die, I
No,
guess.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
No, but
that.
what you mean though when you say it's a bitch is that the deck is shuffled, so
Well,
the
yeah,
perception has changed. Is that what you're saying? The perception from it being all solid and real has kind of changed, but there's still a sense of being separate. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. I don't really think about being separate or not being separate. I just, it's more about, I used to track things really well, and I don't track things like, I mean, I can drive to the store, and I can, I'm not a dangerous driver. I haven't become a dangerous driver, but there's a lot of things that I used to be like really precise about. And like, it was funny the way that you were talking about trying to find your tea. I mean, shit like that happens all the time for me now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm. Yeah.
it's like, oh, maybe it wasn't that important. I mean,
Yeah, maybe not. Huh? Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Like that's just what's appearing to happen there. Then I have no idea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess just to leave it, is if you would, I think it's important that sometime, wait, well, do you sometimes talk about the unconditional love of this?
Yeah. I regularly use that inadequate term, that like this now, the way the sound of voice, sitting on a chair, and the computer, this is unconditional love. Like what appears to happen is unconditional love, but it's not the love we think of.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
but
what I don't know what you mean by unconditional love, but that's how I
uh,
would.
yeah, I don't know what I mean by it either, but I think it's important that you use that word, even though you're not using that word in the traditional sense. It's important that you use that word. And
Um,
I would not say that that's a part of my. I probably wouldn't use that word at this juncture, in
mm,
terms of like hearing the message. But so like if you would say something more about, if there's anything you could say about that,
yeah,
what
well,
do you
what I
mean?
just said there is about as much as I can say about it. It's not expressible. Everything, this whole communication is unconditional love. Unconditional love is energy, is nothing being everything, and that's already all there is. And
Mm,
in that, then there's a sense then of feeling separate to it,
mm,
and it's out of that sense of separation, in which it's a subject object reality, where the wholeness or unconditional love isn't seen, and everything, life, aliveness, isn't seen as it actually is, because it's seen through this veil of separation and this dualistic reality,
mm,
which is what prevents it. And this whole communication is about that. It's about unconditional love. There's no way for me to kind of lay this out in a, I can't, um I have never have any idea what I'm going to say, what's going to be said, but it's usually very brief, you might have noticed. And the reason it's brief is because this isn't something that I can lay out for people, and lay it down and say, this is about unconditional love, and I'm going to explain it to you now and put it down
mm,
for 20
mm,
minutes, because it's just not like that. It's there's just words appear to come, and it's just an illumination, and this is really about, there's nothing really to say here. There's no big monologue. It's
mm.
just really that in this sharing, there seems to be a question, and then there seems to be an answer. It's in the sharing of it, really,
Yeah.
that it can be, it it may be obvious that aliveness itself is just unconditional love, and that's not something that would be from a knowing, a mind thing, a sense of understanding. It can just be that sense of and that's from that sense of separation just not being there, and then there's just what's appearing to happen then.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's really all. Like this is the this is the empty fullness that's yearned for already,
mm. All right.
in whatever appears to be happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I'll let
Thanks,
somebody
Tori.
else know. Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. Alita, hiya.
I forget I have to unmute. Sorry. Hiya.
How you
Can
doing?
you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. True confession. You want a true confession? This apparent self
Yeah.
I was studying this message before she heard about non-dualism, whatever that is.
Mm.
And so did you know that if you squint your eyes a little bit, things get fuzzy and you
Mm-hmm.
can really see the energy that way?
Okay.
Yeah. hmm And that's very important, for people to learn how to see the energy of the,
Okay.
in other words, it's been a wonderful, amazing, fantastic journey I've had since I came on about 6 weeks ago or so.
Yeah. I
And
remember speaking to you. Yeah.
do you really?
Of
Wow.
course. Yeah.
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 Oh, that's great. That's great. I do too. And I've been talking to you ever since, in case you haven't heard. We've had lots of wonderful conversations.
Mm,
Um, yeah, absolutely. And I was going to tell you that what you've said is true. That the message comes out of nothing,
mm-hmm.
because actually you weren't there,
Mm,
but the message came and
mm,
was just there all by itself, which was absolutely fun
mm.
and all of that. And this apparent self doesn't have to squint anymore, which is fabulous. So,
Yeah.
but it truly is not a message for now. Question for you.
Mm,
Um, it very clear. It's not a message for the separate self. Um, and it feels like it's also not a message for the apparent reality either. It's just a message about energy, unconditional love,
yeah.
and my favorite, the unknowable,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, the individual and the apparent reality are the same, one and the same thing. So yeah, it's not a message for anybody. I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm never speaking to an individual because I can't see an individual. And then, but when people speak, there's aliveness is speaking as a body, mind, and that's the way. That's what's appearing to happen. So it's the same and it's totally different. But there's not even a communication or a message really. There's just
Right.
energy. There's just what's appearing to happen. Um, and it's heard as it's heard then, yeah.
It's been very interesting because it wasn't one of those boom, whoa, everything, becomes clear. It's been a very slow sort of progress.
Mm,
And one of the things that the message kind of has been taking a while to see it clearer has been that it's just what's appearing to happen. Um, the words were there. You talk about don't get hung up in the words, and you told me that in the meeting too, and that was the best thing that was heard. Um, because the words are there. It's just what's appearing to happen. And
mm,
then it was only a few days ago that this apparent self went, whoa, energy is just what's appearing to happen.
mm, mm.
That's all it is.
Oh yeah, all there
Everything
is
that is being
energy.
sought is
Yeah,
just what's here now.
yeah, that's it.
Now
It's too
is the wrong,
immediate. Mm,
it's, yeah, and it's too real. I mean,
mm.
this is energy, this pen
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of
That's
course.
energy.
Yeah, it's boundless and borderless, and it's all there is. All there is energy, and energy
This is
is nothing being
unconditional
everything.
love
Yeah,
right
of course.
there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love this pen. No wonder it is. It's a wonderful pen. But, that was like, wow,
Mm.
what a message.
Oh yeah, it's very much about the what we take as people to be ordinary and
Yeah.
everyday. It's not, there is no ordinary actually. Ordinary and extraordinary are duality from the sense of being separate. But when there's no longer a sense of being a separate individual, it's not describable. Nobody can describe it, but to point at it would be like an in loveness with what appears to be, because
Mm-hmm.
what appears to be is simply nothing being everything and is
Mm-hmm.
all that is. So then if that's a cup or a pen or a door and that thing sitting there, or else it's someone speaking to you, it's just what appears to be happening, or a pain in your foot or your knee, whatever it is aliveness, and that, but that can't be, the difficulty with that is when the individual hears that, they want that. I want to know that.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be in that, or I want to, and
Squint.
it's impossible. Yeah, they start squinting. Yeah, or they'll hear from somebody who tells them that if you, everything is nothing and nothing is everything, and the way for you to see that is to just practice this ancient technique of squinting, where everything will just be energy, and so the person will be drawn to that then and try to practice that or whatever.
Have you seen my YouTube channel yet?
No.
It's called the Squint Technique. Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
Go look for it. Yeah.
Well, I'll check it out.
Oh yeah, do. Yeah, no, it's yeah. And there's one other thing that was life changing for this apparent self.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I'm dying to hear what you're going
No,
to
you
say
go.
right now.
Sorry, you were telling me.
Oh, well, I
misunderstood what you're saying.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
one other thing that was wanted to be shared.
Yeah.
One of the questions that arose and really was wanted to get an answer for was the old rehashing suffering. But because I'm going to use the word I, the apparent I, whatever you want to say.
It doesn't matter what
yeah.
I say I all the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference.
It's just easier. Well,
of course,
it is good to remember that it's all energy, but it does matter anyway. So the reason I really wanted an answer is because I have an incurable, very serious chronic disease, and I've had it for 8.5 years now. And so that was a very personal question. What about suffering? And there was a lot, going through all of your videos. I made it to the bottom too, just to let you know. But going through all of those videos, I know, impressive, right? But there's that topic comes up. But there was an answer that for myself, for this apparent self, has been helpful, but I don't think a separate self would like it. About what about the suffering? What about the pain? What about the illness? And the answer is it doesn't matter. Because it's all just energy.
Yeah.
And it's all, whatever, I love to call it the unknowable. Yeah. Okay, it's all just that.
Yeah, that's as good a word as any. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, it was your word. All of these are your words. But
well, they're not really, but yeah.
Well, I know, but you
they're
listen.
Just words,
they came out of the mouth on the YouTube video. But I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
Oh, nobody wants to hear anything that's in my videos. Like as in the individual, this is a horrendous communication for the individual. That's very obvious very quickly, I think, is that there's nothing on offer and it's a hopeless message. So hopeless messages don't generally go down too well, because the individual is a hopeful energy of something better. It's a hopeful anticipation of something being better tomorrow, moving forward. That's that whole energy. So a clear uncompromising communication will be hopeless. Because there's no hope for anything other than what's appearing to happen, because what's appearing to happen is everything. Nothing being everything. It's unconditional love. So what hope would there be for something better than everything, or unconditional love, or whatever term you want to use? So in that sense, no, I mean, this resonates. There's an openness, or there's a readiness to what's being suggested here. and it's that can resonate with this. But people will engage in it. The individual will engage in it, though, for all sorts of different reasons, and for conceptual stuff, for fun, for boredom, for everything. And so you'll get all of that as well, and that's okay. But yeah, so there's no, that essentially is kind of the going to the heart of what's being said here, is that there is no hope on offer here, because what could be better than nothing being everything, than boundless unconditional love, you know. And the incredible thing is that what's yearned for, that wholeness, does appear as incurable terminal disease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the shock, because the person would think it can't be the diagnosis or the experience of incurable terminal disease, because that's without hope. So it has to be something other than that. But it is that, and anything else that's uncomfortable and upsetting and whatever, painful, that's also just energy. It's simply what appears to be happening.
Is to happen.
Yeah,
But,
it's
and
just what's appearing to happen. Yeah.
it's a relief for me.
Yeah.
It's not hopeless at all.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was such an incredible relief.
Yeah.
Just, it really, wow, you know,
Yeah.
it just, because it is that, it's everything.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And being able to see that, and that uncompromising, that is so incredibly important. And that's why I want to keep trying to make these meetings, because I want to make sure that what the experience, you know, what that I want to make sure that the message I'm getting is not compromised, that it's not the separate selves, you know, sliding in there going.
Well, it doesn't really matter either, because if it resonates, it resonates. And this is about something that's inescapable. Like there's not even really a
already
meeting.
is.
Yeah,
it already
it's
is.
whatever
Yeah.
is appearing to be. So there's not even really a meeting, really, you know. So if either the attendance is appearing to happen, or say watching the YouTube videos is appearing to happen, or it isn't, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. And this can be heard, and people can, a sense of separation can fall away, and they may not feel any need draw to watch another video again, because actually there's just aliveness. So it's just all that appears to be anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not as if you're going to miss out on anything.
Quickly though, but also the way it was seen is, you know, having a sense of a separate self, that's also just energy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So
it's not that that's in any way bad or wrong or anything.
Yeah.
It's just what appears to happen. And that's it. But then the thing is that if that really, that there's a real sense of being separate, and you know, there's a huge yearning from that, and a huge sense of unworthiness, and then, you know, that this is an illumination that you are not that actually, and that you are all that is. So then that can be heard. Like, so that's all it is. It's not an agenda for anybody to come out of that separation, because there's nobody who's in it.
There's nobody in it. Yeah.
But at the same time, it is addressing the really felt sense of separation, because otherwise it would be, well, sure, separation is energy as well, so it's okay, it doesn't matter.
What's the use? Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, that's fine, that's okay, but that's not really addressing the apparent issue for the individual, is it? You know. So there you go. But of course it is, like, and that's what happens. People, a sense of separation appears to fall away. There's just what's appearing to happen, and then people feel that they come and go, and then at some point they can see that even if there is a sense of separation, it's also just what's appearing to happen.
Bingo. Yeah.
You know, so there you go. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for not being there, because it was fabulous. Yeah. Oh boy. Thank you.
Anyone else got any burning questions before I finish, guys? No. It was nice to see you. Oh, we do have Tobias. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, Kenneth.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. So, is there a possibility that, like, in a way, that the contraction will fight back when something is seen or something?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Like the individual just hates this. The individual, isn't being spoken to here at all. So the individual is like the whole energy of being an individual is just that, just to be an individual.
Yeah.
So an illumination that there is no individual will not, it doesn't go down very well. So it can just be almost ramped up a little bit. If this, what's very common to see is that if it's seen that there's no the what was taken as a solid real thing, person, individual, is just seen to be empty, but then that sense of being separate just continues, that what's common is that the game or the story kind of even just turns up a notch even. So
Yeah.
I am real. Yes,
Yeah.
I am. Well, how dare you think I'm not real? I'm here, and you do have a life. And people talk about that. That's quite a common thing for people to talk about. The volume goes up even higher.
Yeah. I would say that I had like this experience today, like the last few days. I don't know. It looked like there were a few moments there. It felt like something fell away, and now like this afternoon, and it was like really strong, like there were people around me, and it was extremely this contraction and the feeling of I'm a person, they are a person. It was
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really intense, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
also
crazy.
just energy. That's just what appeared to happen.
Yeah.
But that's gorgeous. That's yeah. But what was I going to say there was you were talking oh, it's completely gone. You know, there was something there. It was
Great
brilliant as
words.
well. It was amazing. It was so gorgeous, and now it's gone. I think I'm getting a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
tired. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's it. That's just. Oh yeah, yeah. It was just that. I often say this at the beginning, but people, when you talk like this, people then it's natural for people to think that they are going to fall away, or well, I'm still here, I haven't fallen away yet, and as if it's something that's going to happen. And what's being suggested is it's not going to happen at all. And the reason it's not going to happen is you're already not there. So it's not actually a happening. So it's only an appearance that someone appears to fall away.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you. See you soon.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.